In the last video help, we added a new appointment. Now we're going to take the next step and add a booking. A booking is where a screen like this information was added, and now we actually have to add the person. Let's assume in this particular case that the client was not in the listing and we want to go add a new client. So I'm just going to step you through it. You would have originally looked at this list, and if you did not find the person there, you really couldn't add the booking to the person. It would not show up over here where you would be later on. So we have to add it. The way to do that is to go to the customer list, which is this screen where we have the booking, and here's the customer name that we're going to be adding. Assuming that it's not already there, or if it was there, you can click on any one of these arrows to go into any record. And when you enter the record, if you hit the new button or add new record, you would add a new blank record where no data was installed in the record. What you would do at that point is you would add the client's name, the address, the city, the state or province, the zip code, or postal. You would add the email if you have it, the phone numbers 1 and 2 for the local or regional telephone where the person's coming from. If they're checking in where they're a company and they're a part of a company and they're billing this to a company, you want to take the company information, the address, the city, state, and what kind of vehicle they're driving, and also the license number, and then the company email. How many people are in the party? If there are any pets, this would be somebody if it was a non-company. If they brought pets and you allowed pets, the pets and type of pet and the number of pets. If you're including children out of the party, say it was 1 and a child, it'd be 1 and 1 child. A total of 2 for 2, and then 1 for 1 child. There's an explanation, information, comments that you can make for this client where this is running. You can have as much data as you want in here. You can copy it from a word processor and paste it in here if you wanted to. Now on the booking screen, there's also a utility portal that's called a UDF portal for UDF fields. And what this is a undefined fields. In other words, in this case, if you need to define fields that were not included in the actual application, you could add a new title, and you can see where it says add title 2 and add title 3. You can have up to 3 fields wide where you add the title and then put data in the second field where you would have, say for example, sports. If this is a lodge where you had sports and you wanted to list the sports and then the people that had that affinity for that sport, or another thing, if they've been here before, did they have a certain kind of sport that they brought things with them, for example, if they had sports equipment, or are they renting it? So that would give you information. You can put an infinite number of fields in there for this client, for this particular record. You can use this field to go next and previous, to go down through the clients in the select list, or you can click on the green arrow here to change records to another person. In addition to that, if you're adding information and you're looking for a specific client and there's too many here to look through, or you don't want to scroll down to find them in alphabetical order, what you would do is you would go ahead and click the find mode. And what the find mode does is it empties the fields, and then you can go ahead and put in what you're looking for. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to type in Ben, which is the short version of Ben Franklin, who's one of the clients. And then I'm going to click on the Perform Find button, and it finds him in the records. So no matter if you have 1 or 10,000 records, you can very quickly find that person if he's a current client. If he's a new client and you just added him, and you're adding the information for that client, what you're doing is you're creating a record that in the future, if you have to do any billing and information that's related to the billing, that person's information allows you to either send them an invoice if it's a company, or bill them when they're appropriate for billing at the departure on the day that they're leaving. You have a summarized bill that is going to be part of the billing system. You can also take their payment, which we'll talk about later. Now recall, I said, if this is through a browser and you're using this as a server application, then you would need to submit or cancel the record before you leave this area. So you would just simply click on the submit, on the browser and it would save the data you just added or modified. The next thing we'll be covering on the next video is the room assignment, the room listing, the billing, the payment, and the data portal. All of these will be covered when you click on the video in the appropriate tab. So for example, if you're in room assignment, you would go ahead and click on the video help here, and that would take you to the next part of the next lesson. There's also a booking listing that we came from that you can go there, and there's also another booking by date that shows all the bookings in a date order in case you wanted to print them out to have a readout of those listings. We'll cover that later on also. There is also a hide show menus like we said in the beginning of the app on the calendar. This will hide and show the menus on a small screen like on the iPad or the iPhone to give you more screen space. There's also a show all records. When I did this find, I actually reduced the number of records that were able to be viewed until I actually clicked one of these buttons. If you're on a different screen and you do a find and click the show all records, you're returning all the records to selection. That means that when a find is done, it reduces the number of records that you currently are looking at. The same thing works if you went, for example, and did a find and then went to a listing. You would only see that particular record. You would probably have to pop back over here and click on show all records, and then all the current records would be shown back on the listing. This concludes this video. Go to the next tab and take the next video help in room assignment.